Hello children, good morning to you all. How do you do? Hope that all of you are getting well. Okay, today I am going to take you the first lesson on moral science. What is the name of the first lesson? Are you free? The first lesson is, are you free? So, what is the word freedom remind us? Usually when we speak about freedom, we think about the struggle which we have taken for our independence. We were under the British people, they were ruling over us, we were just like slaves. So this is what which comes to our mind when we speak about freedom. Now, after independence, the nation has become free. So that means every citizen is a free individual, no matter what their caste is, what their creed is, or the color, or the which state you are from, or the languages. No matter, there is no difference in that. All of you are children of the free nation. All of you are citizens of the free nation. So you have equal rights, equal duties. So this is what freedom when we think about our nation. Now, but how free are we? Can you think of how free are we now? We say that we got freedom, but how free are we? You remember, you might have learned the poetry of Rabindranath Tagore. It's a poem. He thinks about how should be his nation after becoming free. What kind of freedom the nation should have. He says that every citizen in this country of free India should hold their heads high. That means everybody should have dignity. We should not be under any foreign rules. We should be with dignity. Then Rabindranath Tagore says that each free individual should respect the reason, not being slaves to the narrow domestic walls. What do you mean by narrow domestic walls? That is the customs, old customs and traditions which are not giving freedom to the people. That is the narrow domestic walls are thinking about caste, creed, color, state, languages, all these. These are the narrow walls which prevent us from having freedom. And we know that he says that it should be a country where knowledge is given freely. And he says that each person should work hard for the progress of the country. This is the idea of Rabindranath Tagore in his poem about freedom. That means freedom for everything. Now, freedom opposite is slavery. Freedom opposite is slavery. A slave is a person who is under a system or organization, and when he blindly follows its dictates. Every person is under a religion, under a system or an organization. Every person is. But if you follow its dictates, what it says blindly means without seeing to the reason why it should be, or you just simply obey them even if it is bringing difficulties to the other people, then you are a slave to the system. You are a slave to the organization. For example, you see, in India, before the independence, we had the practice of sati. We were slaves to the system of sati. And we were slaves to the system of child marriage. So this is something against freedom. Because a wife has every right to live even after the death of her husband. A life is given by God as a gift, and only God can take away the life from us, not our systems and organizations. So then we know that a religious fanatic has self-motives. Who is a religious fanatic? A man with narrow religious beliefs. He has hatred for the other religions. They are known as religious fanatics. For example, you can see the terrorists. Why do the terrorists come and attack us? Because they wanted to force their way of thinking, their way of life, their way of living into us, and they wanted to capture our wealth and everything. So, a religious fanatic who has self-motives and narrow religious beliefs, they hate other religions. In India, you know, India is a country where we accept every religion, every culture we accept. We have our own culture, a very rich heritage of culture we have. At the same time, we are ready to accept what is good in others, such is our land. But these religious fanatics who are very narrow religious minded, they bring hatred in the country, and the good practices of our life, our nation will be zero afterwards. Then what about a fanatic is like that, bringing hatred among the people. But a truly religious man, what does he do? He sees the truth in all religions. Every religion has truth in it. And every religion teaches that you should love your neighbor. You should love God and love your neighbor, or you should love your brothers and sisters. That means everybody in the world are your brothers and sisters. So this leads us to a happy life. On the other hand, if you are a fanatic, you will be always fighting. You will be always having hatred. You kill others. You take the property of others. But a truly religious man understands that whatever may be the religion you believe in, but in every religion there is a great truth, that is to love God and to love all fellow men. Then only we can lead a happy life. Actually, life on earth is a gift from God, and it is given to us to lead a happy life. But if we are slaves to anything, then we can't live a happy life. Then there is another way of slavery, that is slave to ignorance. What do you mean by ignorance? Lack of knowledge. Unpad. So, what is it? You remember when the British people came to India, majority of our Indians were ignorant and illiterate. That is the reason why these British people could rule our country for a long time. So what happened? After the independence, our leaders adopted means of spreading literacy. Literacy means giving knowledge, making people to read and write, and then to learn many things. So leaders were concentrating on spreading literacy. For example, you see, free education is announced below the age of 14, and now we are again changing it. Again, I remember that my parents used to say in their childhood, their parents had to pay 5 rupees daily if the child is not going to school. That was the rule of the state at that time. What for? To make the people literate. Unless we force them, they won't become literate. So, this is the way how our leaders try to spread literacy. Literacy is needed so that we will come to know many things. And let us see what are the profits of literacy. Literacy removes darkness. Darkness means not the darkness in the night. That means it lights up our lives. The ignorance of ours will go away, and we will be lighted up with the knowledge. Then literacy is the gateway to knowledge, driving away ignorance. Then conscious of rights and duties. Literacy makes us conscious of our rights and duties. make us known what are our rights and what are our duties. So when we come to know about our rights and about our duties, this will help us to live a richer and independent life. We will live a richer life and independent life because we know what are our rights. So we fight for our rights. We know what are our duties. So we try to do our duties. The more knowledgeable a person is, greater contribution he can give towards the growth of the society and himself. If you are more educated, if you have more knowledge, we can help the society to grow more. You also will grow more and the society also will grow more. Now there are varieties of slavery in the present day. That means, for example, you see, the modern media can be a slave to a person. For example, you are addicted to television, addicted to computer, addicted to mobile, addicted to cricket. That means what happens? It is a negative, it gives you a negative influence. Of course, you have to see television, you have to see TV, you have to use computer, you have to use mobile. But there is a limit for that. So your life is not meant for this alone. Your life is meant for bring up a life which is happier. So if you are addicted to television and computer, mobile, etc., what happens is you see everything is on the tip of your finger. The mobile, if you touch anywhere, you get varieties of informations. And if you are addicted to this and you are always looking at the films or videos of violence, misadventure, etc., what happens? You try to experiment it. I remember once I had read in the paper, a child of 4 to 5 years, he had taken a rope and tried to hang himself, and he hanged. He only was trying to experiment what he saw in the TV. But he tried to experiment it, and finally what happened? He died because of this. And you see, sometimes children imitate the stunts which are seen in the films. You can see sometimes when you come to the classroom, children are doing tissue like that. Why? Because they are trying to imitate what they have seen in the TV. Or they speak vulgar languages which neither the parents speak nor the people in the area speak. They learned it, they heard it from vulgar films. And also, I remember there was a film in Malayalam, it was known as Drishyam. So that film was, actually the film was with a good message, but the thing is that when the hero was accused of doing murder, his people had killed somebody by mistake. But in order to escape the punishment, because he did not do it purposely, he tried to remove all the proofs, destroyed all the proofs. So what happened? After seeing this film, 3 cases were there. It was published in the paper saying that they have declared that after seeing this film, they also have done the same thing. They did something very bad, killed some people, and they tried to imitate all the things which the Drishyam film has shown how to take away all the proofs regarding that. So these are the ways how this media can influence us very badly. So we have to, what we have to do? We have to see the films which gives us stories of courage, success, etc., so that they will inspire us to do the good things. Then we have to develop positive attitudes towards TV. How can we have positive attitudes towards TV? That means limit the time. You fix a time, half an hour, 45 minutes, afterwards don't do it. That means your studies, your work should not be affected by this. all the time sitting in front of the TV means you will not get time to study. Plus all the time your head will be full of these ideas about the hero, heroine and all, and you cannot concentrate on your studies. So the things which trouble you, which come in between your studies, you don't do it. Okay, such kind of things. So that is one way of a positive attitude towards a TV. Then select the type of program which will help you with the help of your parents. Don't see anything which your parent does not like or which make you get scolded by your parents. That means they are not good. So whatever you do, whatever you see, the program should be selected. Then, for example, now I have a doubt. You are having always online classes. You take a pretension that you are always looking in the class. You are searching on the online classes. And are you really sincere? After the classes, what you have to do? After writing the notes and all, you close it. You don't go to the other side. Or in between the classes, you don't look at this one and that one. It's not sincerity. You will be misusing your mobile. It should be, nobody is there to question you, maybe because parents are out. They are on their work. There is one person who sees all these things. Remember that God is always looking at you. We have to be sincere to ourselves and in front of God. Then we have to cultivate good habits. We have to cultivate good habits, practice good habits. Laziness, idleness, etc. can enslave a man. Laziness can make you a slave. Idleness can make you a slave. And you will have very narrow vision about life. You become a lazy person means you will never progress. Then freedom is, nowadays one difficulty is that freedom is misunderstood by both youngsters and children. You think that a state of life without rules and regulation is freedom. Youngsters think that freedom means it is a state of life without rules and regulations. And teenagers, who are the teenagers? 13, 14, 15 up to 19 years. These teenagers think that whatever the teachers or whatever the parents say, it is something slavery for them. They think that why should we obey? Because we are free. No children, this is not freedom. Parents or elders say to you to do something or not to do something, they speak it for your goodness. If you go on the other way, you will be going wrong. Your life will not be in happiness. So they tell you to go in the right path. Sometimes you may not like it, but remember that obedience will always save you from slavery. Okay, it is not slavery. Obedience is not slavery. So children should obey to their parents. So now, for example, you see in the school, you have the rule to keep discipline in the class, not to talk in the class. Teacher is taking classes and you should sit silently and listen. So that is a rule in the school. Suppose you go against that and you start talking, what will happen? The students who are sitting nearby you, they will get distracted. They also will feel like talking. They won't give attention to the class. The teacher who is taking the class, she cannot continue. So there is a rule to come in time to school. Suppose a boy comes late, half an hour late, your attendance is over, roll call is over. Teacher started to take the classes and in between he comes. It's a disturbance for the whole class. The teacher also feels it very awkward. So these rules are there not to take away your freedom, but to bring you goodness. All these rules and regulations will profit you. So, freedom is not the absence of rules or regulations. Freedom is not the absence of rules and regulations. It is the absence of an outside have a free will. And what is freedom? It is the absence of an outside control. Nobody should control your free will. What is the meaning of that? So you say that, okay, mommy says this to do this, so I have a free will, I will not do. Not that. The free will here means that since you are an educated person, since you know what is right and wrong, your free will is formed in such a way to accept the right and to deny the wrong. So, your free will is that you will accept always right things and you will not do the wrong things. So, suppose somebody coming from outside, for example, you have a group of friends and suppose think that these friends are not that much good. They come to you and tell you that, come, let us go and have we'll go and steal the things which are in so and so house. In the night all of us will come together and we will go and steal. So somebody, you are going to have an outside control. These boys are controlling your mind. But if you are a person with a free will, I mean say, yes, with a free will, what will you do? You will say that you know that it is wrong. Going and stealing the things of others is wrong. So with your free will you say no control of you. I don't want any outside control. I have a free will and I will not come with you. This is freedom. This is actual freedom. So it is not the absence of rules and regulations, but it is the absence of an outside control over your free will. Okay? So your will is, remember that your will is always mature in that case. Then we can say that life is compared to a kite which is ready to fly. Life is just like a kite which is ready to fly. And you see that a kite has a fly means there should be a thread and the thread is controlled by somebody else. Suppose the thread is gone away from the hand of the person and the kite is freed from the thread, what will happen? It will go somewhere and get lost. But if it is controlled by the thread, it will fly for a long time. Life is also like that. So there should be rules and regulations, a controlling system, so that you will go through the right path. Also we can say freedom is like a tree growing in an open place. So if the area is open, it gets enough of sunlight, air and everything, and it grows well. So also persons with the right environment and good company and guidance will grow in his fullness. Persons with the right environment, good company and guidance. You should get guidance from your parents, from the elders, from the teachers. And the environment you live also should be good. I can tell you the story of Nicky Cruz from New York. He was a man, he was a boy, he was the son of parents who were the devil worshippers. So they were very cruel people. So what did they do? They kept him in the kennel of the dog's thing, and they used to burn iron rods and used to poke him inside the kennel. This boy suffered a lot. He is supposed to get love and affection and protection from the parents, but he was not getting it. So he was having hatred in his mind. He hated everybody. He does not know what is love. But one day, luckily, he escaped from the kennel and he went to the streets, the city streets. There were so many bad children who had not having a good environment. So they always used to go for stealing, used to go for killing, all kinds of things they used to do. So this boy, since he had no parents or nobody to look after, Nicky Cruz went with them. And and he became the leader of them, and this gang became the headache for the city. The New York City police were frightened of this gang because they have no kindness. They used to simply kill and they used to escape. Why is it that here Nicky Cruz has become like that? Because of his bad environment. The environment which he lived. But what happened, children? To come to it is not a story, it is a living. It is what happened in the life. Nicky Cruz is still alive. But one day, a good man, he wanted to change this Nicky Cruz. So he had a fasting and prayer run for 3 days, and he came to the compound where Nicky Cruz and his companions were staying, and he went and he asked for the room of Nicky Cruz. So they showed him where the room is, and as soon as he entered in, he saw that Nicky Cruz was drunkard. He was drunken, and he looked at him and asked, "Why did you come?" Immediately the man said, "Nicky Cruz, God loves you." Up to now, Nicky Cruz has never heard about the word love. He just simply went and said, "God loves you." He got angry and gave him a slap. The poor man fell down. And Nicky Cruz, with his shoes, he stepped on the head of the man and said, "Say once again," means I will make you into small pieces. He said, "Nicky Cruz, God loves you." This man was ready to die even so that at least Nicky Cruz may come back to his real life. Nicky Cruz just looked at him very badly, and after some time his companions came and threw away this man out of the room. This man again, the next day, he was standing. He was in his place where he was having some companions with him. At that time, that day night, that means the day this man went to Nicky Cruz, that night Nicky Cruz could not sleep. He was feeling so upset. That words of the man was in his mind. He said, "Nicky Cruz, God loves you." So this made him so disturbed, and he could not sleep in the night. So he thought, "Let me get up in the morning and go and kill that person." So he went to this man, and as soon as he reached there, he pointed the gun on the forehead of the person and said, "Say once again that word which you told me yesterday, I will kill you." The man, what did he do? He again said, "Nicky Cruz, God loves you." He wanted to shoot, but his hands went down. God was protecting that man. He could not do anything. Immediately Nicky Cruz understood that. He was changed. He became a changed man. He fell down at the feet of that person and said, nobody spoke to me about the love of God. So I understood. I am very sorry for what all I have done. Now he is a good fellow. Nicky Cruz is a very good fellow. He is giving this love of God to everybody. So see, children, the environment makes you a good person or a bad person. That will make you to grow or not to grow. So freedom is related to responsibility also. If there is freedom, you have rights and duties. You have some responsibilities. What are the responsibilities? You have to obey the rules and regulations, respect the rights of others, then also respect the lives and property of others. That means, for example, you see, you are driving a car. There is a rule. There are traffic rules. Traffic rules are to protect your life plus the life of others. Everybody has a right to drive a car or a vehicle. So when you obey the rules and regulations of the traffic rules, what happens? You protect yourself and you protect the lives of others. So if you misuse and misunderstand freedom, your growth will be just like a garden which is full of weeds. Instead of the thing which you have planted, all the weeds have come up in the garden and your mind is just like that. So what you have to do, these weeds are the bad habits that are laziness, saying lies, or disobeying. These are the weeds which we grow in us. So what we have to do, in the very younger age itself, we have to nip this in the bud. What do you mean by that? Try to get rid of this bad habit in the very early life itself. Then in the book there is the story of two birds. So the story says that there was a male bird and a female bird. And the male bird both were so happy, so loving. And one day the male bird could not see the female bird, it missed. So he went in searched everywhere, and finally he found that the female bird was kept in a golden cage in the palace of a prince who is having no concern for others. So how to get inside? Through the window he saw, he cannot go inside and bring her out. So what did he do? He thought for a long time, and finally he decided, he came flying and he dropped down, and afterwards he could not see. He could not be seen. The female bird cannot see him. He dropped down. So she thought that he might have died. But next day again this bird came, and again he came, and again he dropped out of sight. Now the female bird understood that he is teaching me a lesson. So what did she do? She tried to imitate him. She fell down on the bottom of the cage and lay down there just like a dead bird. In the morning, when the prince came to look at the bird, it has found that the bird is dead. So what did he do? He took the bird and threw it out. As he threw it out, what happened? The bird got up and flew away, and they lived happily. So the bird, or the female bird, was saying, I must die to become free. I must die to my bad habits. I should cultivate good habits. I should not be selfish. I should look at the goodness of others. Then only I am free. So let us, children, understand that freedom is not what you wish to do,